we are on, I think this is video 4 for tonight. I'm a little tired. I don't know if you're watching all of these at once, but this is very messy handwriting. Sorry, I am doing these from home now at this point. As you can see, it is 7:28 in the evening. And so we are trying to divide 4.672 or 4 and 672 thousandths divided by 6.4. So try and clear this up here. We have a, oops, see if that works, a decimal point there and a decimal point there. I don't know how well that's showing up. Oh, because I'm still on that. No, we don't want to do that. So let's go here. And let's go here. And let's go here. Okay. So I'd like to get rid of that text box. There we go. 6.4, 4.672. So we cannot have a decimal in the divisor. We need to move that over one space. And if we move the decimal over one place value, we need to do it here also. So we are now doing 46.72 divided by 64. So our decimal is here. So we are actually, if you think about it, doing this first part is going to be 467. So 46.7 divided by 64. Now we're going to think of that not as 446.7, but we're going to ignore that decimal point, and we are going to think about that as 467 divided by 64. So we're thinking about how many times does 64 go into 467. So I'm going to look. This is where I feel like students really struggle with what to do for guess and check. I'm going to look at just this 6 and just this 46. And I'm going to say that 6 times 7 is 42. So I'm going to guess and check 460, not 467. Hold on, I lied. I know it's late at night. I get tired. So I am going to guess and check 64. And I said I was going to try 7 because 6 times 7 is 42. That's going to get me kind of close to 46 without going over. So 4 times 7 is 28. It goes here. It goes up here. If you don't know your multiplication table, pull out your multiplication chart. That's a 2. You can see that. 6 times 7 is 42, plus another 4 is 44. So that's my guess and check. My multiplication, okay, is I'm going to place the 7 over here. I think I'm going to place the 7 over here. Okay, and we just did it on this side. So 7 times 64 is 448. That's the multiplication. The next part is subtraction. So in order to subtract, I need to make the 7 17. I know this is really hard to see. And I need to make the 6 5. So 17, this was 17. Let's see if I can write that a little bit better. This was 17 minus 8 is 9. 5 minus 4 is 1. 4 minus 4 is nothing. So that's the subtraction. Next piece, bring down. Okay. I don't know why sometimes it is the, let's do that. I want it to be orange. Okay. What is going on here? There we go. I'm going to bring down the 2. So now I'm going to say 64 goes into 192 about how many, oh, that was my subtraction. My orange is my bring down. I should have said it this way. Now I'm going to repeat. I'm not sure whether it's on finger. So I'll make both of those black. Okay, we're having all kinds of issues here. Gonna get some K. And we're going to go back. I'm not going to be able to color code it, but I'm basically now saying to myself, 64, having issues here, times some number is going to get me to 192. That's the guess and check piece. So that's where I say, I look at just the 6 and I look at these first two numbers, 19. And 6 is going to go into 19 about 3 times because 6 times 3 is 18. So I'm going to guess and check 3. 4 times 3 is 12. Carry the 1. 3 times 6 is 18 plus 1 is 19. So 3 is correct. 3 times 64 we just did is 192. That's my multiplication. Subtract. There's nothing else to bring down. So the answer is decimal point 0.73 or 73 100ths. Okay. I typed these problems ahead of time to help it make a little bit, be a little bit easier. But basically, we're going to keep the 3 and the 2 to one side, okay? And we're going to deal with just these fractions, with converting these fractions. So I have 2/5 and I have 9/10. And I need to find common denominator. So I'm going to make a multiples chart. Multiples of 5 are 5, 10, 15, 20. Multiples of 10 are 10, 20, 30, 40. So I have a few common multiples, but I want to pick the common multiple that is the least. Okay? And that's, I'm going to have to do this all in one color. That's 10. Okay? So 9/10, I don't have to convert that to tenths because it's already converted. But I have to convert 2/5 to some number of tenths. So as Ms. VB says, life isn't fair, but math is. Whatever I do to the denominator, I need to do to the numerator. So to get from 5 to 10 with multiplication, I'm multiplying by 2. So I'm doing the same thing at the top, multiplying by 2. And I get 4/10. So basically, let me erase my multiples chart here. So I have a little room here. Basically, what I'm now saying is I'm going to actually be adding 3 and 4/10 plus 2 and 9/10. So if I add the fractions first, 4 plus 9 is 13/10. That's an improper fraction though. So I have to turn that into a mixed number. 10 goes into 13 one time and 3/10 is left over, okay? So I now have, let's go here, okay? This should be highlighter. I want you to see this. I have this 3. See if it shows up. Nope. That 3 is a whole number. This 2 is a whole number. And down here I have 1 and 3/10. That 1 is a whole number. So it's 3 plus 2 is 5. Plus this 1 down here is 6. And I still have 3/10. Oh, the highlighter writes better than the pen. So the answer is 6 and 3/10. I think I might keep it on highlighter. I like the way that worked. The next problem is subtraction. So I'm going to go through this again. I'm going to leave the 3 and the 2 alone. But I just did that I have to find a common multiple for 5 and 10. So 10, I could do 20, right? The 30, those are all multiples of 5 as well, but I want the least common multiple, which is 10. 9/10 stays 9/10. We just did this. 5 times 2 is 10, so I have to do the same thing to the top. 4 times 2, sorry, 2 times 2 is 4. And I need to subtract those. The problem is I cannot take 9/10 away from 4/10. So I'm going to clear this a little bit. Okay. And I'm going to go to this 3 2/5, which became 3 4/10. Now, each of these 3 wholes, technically, I know this is going to get confusing, try and bear with me, but technically, 10 over 10 is 1 whole. Another 10 over 10 is another whole. Another 10 over 10 is another whole. That's technically what we have. So if we take away, I want to change my color here. If I take away this tenths and move it over here, I am left with, instead of 3 wholes, I have 2 wholes. And instead of 4/10, I have 14/10 because I took these tenths from right here. I took them away from the whole, I broke them up, and I put them over here to make 14/10. I hope that makes sense. So let me do some erasing here. What I don't need. It's very slow erasing, sorry. But maybe it takes you a minute to write it down and think about what we've done there. Oh my God, it's pathetically slow erasing. Can I get like the thing to make the eraser bigger? Guess not. So I don't know if you can remember what I have there. I actually have 2 14/10. And from it, I'm going to subtract 2 9/10. So 14 minus 9 is 5/10. And 2 minus 2 is nothing. That's a 0. So my answer is 5/10. And by the way, let me change colors so you can see this a little bit better. Both of these are divisible by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. So the answer is 1/2. Moving on to problem 3. Or it might have been problem 4. So when we are multiplying mixed numbers, we have to turn them into improper fractions. We have been working on turning mixed numbers to improper fractions all year. It has been part of our daily math review for weeks, so you should know how to do it. If you don't, you take 5, you take the denominator, 5, multiply it by the whole number, 3, that's 15, and you add another 2. That's 17/5. Over here, 10 times 2 is 20, plus 9 is 29/10. Now you're going to multiply. And in order to multiply, because these aren't nice and pretty numbers on the top, right? I have to do 29 times 17. So I have to do double-digit multiplication. So I have to do 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 2 is 14 plus another 6 is 20. So that's 7 times 29. Now, I have to do the next part. I'm going to change colors here. Let's do blue. Because now I'm going to multiply. Okay, so I'm going to put nothing right there because I'm moving into the tens space. 1 times 9 is 9. 1 times 2 is 2. So since I'm multiplying by the digit in the tens space, I have to start that at the tens space. Now I can add these 3, 9, 493, okay, over, that's 50. So I'm gonna, actually I can do this. So I now have 493 over 50. So I have to convert that improper fraction to a mixed number. So I'm going to get my eraser. I'm going to erase some of this over here. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to say 493 divided by 50. So I'm going to look at just the 5 and the 49. 5 is going to go in a 49. It's not going to be 10 times. So I'm going to try 9 times. 9 times 0 is 0. 9 times 5 is 45. I'm going to bring down 3, 43. So the answer ends up being, let me go over here so I can try and write it in pen and see if it shows up better, because I'm kind of all over the place here. I have 9 holes. 50 went into 493 9 times. 43 were left down at the bottom. It's short division. I don't have to do zeros and bring it down because I am allowed to have a mixed number. So it's 9 and 43 fiftieths. Okay. And the last problem, whoops, that's an old one, is our division problem, which we learned today is keep the first fraction, change the division to a multiplication sign, and flip the last fraction to the reciprocal. Okay, so 3 times 8 is 24 fifths. Okay, I want to turn it into a mixed number, which I do. 5 goes into 24 4 times. But remember, this is short division. We want fractions, so we do not need to add a decimal space and a 0 and bring things down. Our final answer, change the color here, is 4 wholes and 4 fifths. I know it's a lot. I know it's hard when I'm doing it with my finger on the computer versus recording on the Promethean board at school, but hopefully this has helped you. I have some other videos. If you go to the one called Fraction Action, I've done some simpler adding with non-like denominators. I'll be adding some others on there, but I also have done the word problems that you have for homework on page 83 and 89. I think there's a total of like 3 videos you'll need to watch, but it'll go through those problems. Thanks for watching.